Greetings, Earthlings! My name is Zero Jake and welcome back to Space Engineers. We have escaped the planet, but there were a bit of asterisks to that. So, my client crashed when we left the planet, Mars, which I'm not going to show you because, you may be able to tell where it is. So, I was offline for 3 hours whilst this thing was moving at 300 meters a second. So we're about 1.3 thousand kilometers away, which is a lot. This is more than I intended to go, right? So what me and Adam have been doing is we've been expanding our fleet by nicking ships, because that's the best way to do it. We've got a mining hauler, which has been modified to our current mobile base. Adam's building something over there. And we've got a military escort for kidnapping ships. Now, this is all well and good, but I really want to be closer to the planet. I've also done some modifications to the rover. You may notice that a lot of the things on the rover is different. That's because I had to repair quite a lot of it, because Adam crashed the damn thing. We are also not within teleporter distance of the base, because the maximum distance that we can teleport on these pads is 60 kilometers, whereas the full pads is 120, which is still not enough. So we're going to have to get closer to the planet in order to have our revenge against Tom for stealing our stuff and destroying the base. I don't even know the situation at the base. He might have already just nicked everything, in which case we're probably going to build another base on the ground. Anyway, today we're going to solve a problem that we currently have. The problem is we don't have jump drive, right? We don't have the ability to go vast distances in a very short amount of time, which is what we need. The very big problem with this is that if we wanted to jump every single ship, we would need 3 to 4 jump drives, which is annoying. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert the rover into a transport. So if you've played Supreme Commander, which is a real-time strategy game, the UEF air transport is the thing that I'm going after. So we have the main cockpit here, and then we're going to have engines on the side, and then we have a massive rail going outwards that has maglocks that can clamp onto other ships. Also, and then at the very rear we have rear engines, so it can move and what have you. I'm currently using tier 1 ion thrusters on the rover, since they're pretty, they're relatively cheap in comparison to the other ones, and they provide more thrust than anything else that we've got right now. So, first things first, we need to get the layout of the rig to go. Noting that the rig is the thing that we're going to attach the rest of the ships to when we jump. So, sadly, I'm not the one in charge of this ship, Adam is, so I'm going to have to go around his weird convoluted system in comparison to my weird convoluted system. Right. So, we want the ability to walk down here, and at every single area where there is a lock, we want an airlock. We can use the airlock block if things load properly. This one, which is basically like a regular door, however it's got 2 sliding ones, so there's always pressurized. So let's do this. So what we want is we want the ability to go out this way. Now I might change some of it to be something else, but actually no. What we're going to do is turn off the nano factory, which I've moved over to the rover. No, moved off the rover onto the Horde, so that we could do this. So imagine that this is the floor. Could this stop doing weird things? Thank you. Okay, right. Extend that way, you get the gist of it. And then we want to move along this way. We'll do the other side later, and in fact I'm going to have to do quite a lot of this. probably do some calculations as well to see what the optimal fitting of ships is. I mean, I could just attach ships in a kind of ad hoc manner, but that's not going to be, you know, nice at all. All right, let's get things. I don't want armor slopes because we want it to be at least a bit curved. However, what we want is, say, we're going to ignore the front sections, so we're going to say here is the start of the maglocks, right? If we do this, we can then have light armor blocks here and here, and then have them go down like this. Let's get this right way round. No, 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 you've got to rotate it first, Jake. Rotate first. Right. Right. So if we have it like this, and then we can have the airlock here, right? We can have the airlock situated on this block, which is going to be useful. So if I go get a regular and do this, that will signify that that's where the airlock needs to be, noting that the rest of it will be windows. Yeah, so if we do that, and then we have this go along as well. Right. Right, okay. So we have it go along like this. And then what we do is we get maglock blocks and we place them down here. Right? So that will be the locking on section, and we'll make sure that those maglock blocks are attached to different bays, which will allow us to detach certain areas if we want to. So what we're going to do is we're going to access the rover, which I can't because I don't have an antenna on the rover. Maybe that'll be a good idea. Just maybe. Yes, if I go into access, we can go to control panel, we can find the maglock cubes, and we can set these. Right, you know what? You know what's going to be better? Right, port 1. Here we go again. Right, so the left-hand side of the ship is port, the right-hand side is starboard. So we want to label these port 1, actually. Yes, let's do it properly, Jake. Let's do it properly. So these go to be maglock cube port 1, all of them, which is basically the maglock section on the port side, first one. This is so that when I'm doing things in the control panel, you know, madness doesn't ensue by everything. So we have all of these. We go maglock port 1. Right, and we have that there. So we can, I'm going to turn off auto lock for now because I don't want that. And that basically allows us to latch things on. We could have buttons here that allow us to detach whatever is on this port, for example. You know, things that would help us in the future. Good. So now that that's done, we copy it over to the other side, and then we also need to deal with the top section, which is going to be here. Now, this is only going to be 2 high, because if it's 3 high, then I'm going to be a bit mad, because I'm going to have to use 3x3 windows. We can use 2x2 windows here if we want to. And also it's to make sure that, you know, we actually have some proper layering and stuff, because if we don't, then I will go a bit insane by it just being flat completely on the top. Right, so if we go along here, and then we get the light armor blocks going along here. And then we just need another slope. Right. That will be another full block. That's going to be, yes, that's a regular. That's a slope. These are regular blocks. We have these on top. Noting that they're just to determine where things are instead of anything else, because I'm going to change how that works in a second. And then, yeah, we want to do the hokey cokey. Flip it around. Flip it around again. Right, okay, so let's go get the horde and let's tell it to activate Nanofactory so that we can get these things welded up. Okay, let's get rid of these as well, just in case. Right, so we'll wait for the Nanofactory to weld this stuff up. I also need to add more. I need to add these maglock cubes on. Excellent. Okay, so that's the start of the maglock area. I can change how far I want the connection points for, but that should be good. I can copy and paste this design along there, possibly using a projector block if I wanted to, though that's going to be quite a hassle to do. Right, so what we want to have no, not on the middle. We want armor blocks, and we want them to go around the airlock, because then we can place buttons on them instead of just having, regular windows. We're probably going to have a multiple of 3 going this way so that we can use the windows with the least amount of girders. Well, with the least amount of, splits in them. I mean, I could use a mod to get windows that do it automatically, but that just looks weird at the end of it. Yeah, so once Nanofactory does its job, which I believe we may have the resources for it, let's double check. How much steel do we have? 9,000. That might be enough. Can't take from there because it's on a different network. Need to sort that out. Anyway. Okay, that's good. Very nice. Now, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to do the engine section. And this is going to be the front engine section, because the rear engine section is going to contain the rear engines, and the front engine section is going to contain the front engines, like a sensible person. So, we're probably going to need to change this area a bit so that it works as intended. So, we're going to do, again, the port side before the starboard side. We're going to want to change that to a light armor block, get the rest of these. Okay, probably going to need to change a bit more on the bottom, but hey, we're doing things. Okay, so we want this to extend out quite a bit. So let's get inverted corner block. Let's get the light armor slopes, go out a bit. It really depends how much space we want. That might be enough space. Yeah, that should be enough space. If we want one, no, we want 2 large thrusters. 2 large thrusters. In the end, we'll have 2 large thrusters, but we don't have the resources for it, so this ship is not going to be at optimal capacity. Noting it's still called the Rover, it's always going to be called that. The Rover will be with us until the end of time. And then we want to go along a bit. Right, so if we have a large thruster here, and a large thruster here, then we also get or rather, if we have a large thruster there, which consumes 3 areas over 2, so we only have 2 large thrusters, noting that we can have higher tiered thrusters, then across here we can have side thrusters, up thrusters, and down thrusters, which basically deals with our requirement to have lateral movement, which is good. So now what we want to do is we want to kind of trail it off a bit. So if we get that, and then we start using these ones to move it along quicker. Might change my mind, but that's fine. No, not that. Right, so we have here and then here, and then we get these guys. Because then we can have a square, and then in this kind of gap area we can have gyros if we need them. Yeah, and then we have that. We want a full block. Okay, detach this. Full block. Right. Okay. So that's the area of the engine. We may need to move the maglocks down a bit. But yeah, that should work. Okay, and then we just need the bottom section, which is going to behave very similar, except for the fact that this is going to be slightly different. We want a inverted corner to go here. Unless we change these to corner blocks. No, not corner blocks, angled areas. If we want to copy top and bottom, then that would be something that we would want to do. I'll think about that later. That's really just a cosmetic thing. We're just trying to get the area right. So if we go along like this, and then we get another corner block. And then we go along again, following everything that we've built previously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, and then I want a corner. And then we do the same thing. Excellent. So we need to change this to this. Right, and then one more. Yeah. Okay, this is good. We are getting somewhere. So we can get rid of these light armor blocks here, because we won't need them. Since off from here is where the actual fun bit starts, whereas this area, not so much. Okay. We'll probably continue this kind of layered area that we've got going on so that we can have more detail, but that should work. Okay. We need to exchange. Yeah. Okay. That's good. I am satisfied. Now let's get the nanite factory turned off. Because next bit we're going to have fun. Okay, so since that's that, we're going to need to weld up this. Okay, right. So what we want now is we want an ion engine. We're probably going to want a large one, noting that we'll change it out for an upgrade later. And by later I mean if it doesn't work out. So we want to place this here. We want to twizzle this around so that it gets into a good position. So if we place that there, as you can see, looks kind of nifty. Alternatively, we can move up along one if we want or not. Yeah, we'll say or not this time. We'll make sure that everything's good. Get the slopes. Okay, now that we're here, what we want is we want more ion thrusters. Smaller ones this time. And we want them to go along like this. We want 8 on each nacelle. So that gives us a total of 16 since we'll be doing something similar on the back end. So that should be good. Yeah, and then we can go back to steel and just finish this off. Except we don't need this. We might be using that later. Okay, so with that, we then just want slopes going in here, and then eventually I'll get this correct. One time I'll be able to rotate it properly. No, not you. You. Right, so that'll go into here. That goes out here. We don't have these, we don't have these. And then we've got a nice nacelle on the side bit anyway. Next bit, what we're going to do is we're going to get the up and down. Technical terms here. We're going to try and keep this kind of an engine room layout because we could have hydrogen tanks in here for any hydrogen thrusters that we wanted to use. Or something, we might have jump drives or reactors or anything really. Okay, so if we keep this layer sealed, right? And we keep this layer sealed. And then we make sure that this area can't be used. That gives us plenty of room to add other thrusters. Now, the thing is, with this layout, we're going to have more vertical thrusters than we are going to have horizontal. Which might turn out to be a maneuvering problem. However, we might need it if we decide to go in the atmosphere, so we'll keep it like that. We'll have it so that it gets stuck out here, so that we have 9 on each side. So let's get thrusters. Good. So that should be that. If we get the rest of these armor blocks here, I'll deal with differences later, and then we just copy the same thing. Right, so we want that there. So we need to cut off this area, and then cut off this area. So that's 1, 2, 3, go, go, go. Right. That should be nice. Okay, game. Okay, server. I'm attempting to be here, but you decide not to. Right. Okay, and then we have that, and then we can have thrusters, and then everyone says yay because we have thrusters everywhere. And then I just need to add these in. I can smooth out the armor later, but that should be a nice layout. So let's go to the Horde, let's turn on the Nano Factory, and then lose all of our ability to build thrusters, as it should be. Yeah, that should be quite a nice room in order to do things. Problem is, the only reactors we're going to be able to build in here are azimuth reactors, which is fine, but we won't be able to build arc reactors, which is what I want to eventually upgrade to. Have to think about that one. We'll also have to think about how we're actually going to connect it to the network. I mean, I could have conveyors go along, but yeah, conveyor goes along here, goes down here, and we have the reactor in this corner. That could work. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, this is good. Okay, so now that we're here, we're going to... I want... these guys. And then we'll have another safety thing here. And then we'll have window, which I believe I already have a thing of. I don't have any things, do I? No, I don't have any girders. Damn you, reality. Right. Let's get some girders. Because what this should do is it should allow me to place a 2x3. Look at that, the maths works. I want it to be, yeah. Flip us around. Good. And then we want to make sure that this is like that. Okay, game, fine. Decide not to connect using mag boots. Right, this should be done any moment. I can't see us running out of thruster components yet. Let's double check the horde. Noting I'm going to have to do a bit of a clean out of the horde's inventory, like inventory and control panels, so it's not insane to use. Yeah, this should be good. Getting somewhere. This could actually be a proper good capital ship. I mean, we could change out these maglock areas for different sections. So I could say, hey, I want a hangar bay. And then I go, sure thing, boss, and then we have hangar bay. Well, we can have a hangar area instead of a maglock area. I mean, I could have the maglock area instead of being down on the side, but down means that it won't hit anything else. And in fact, I want to see. That is lower. No, it's on the same level as... Yeah, it's on the same level as our landing gear, which is ridiculously useful, noting that the landing gear is going. Yeah. Because it means we can land with those if the terrain is flat enough. Now, the length at which I want this to go is not determined right now. Oh, that's a bad location to have it. Give me a second. That was not the location I had planned. Though, it works anyway. We're going to need to rotate it this way. So if we have it like that, and then we have that, and then we have this. And hey everybody, we've got a good system. Let's get that up and running. So if I just layer over here, since we're going to need to. Right. We layer over that. I'll build the other nacelle outside of episode so that we can get things going. But yeah, that should be good. Yeah. So it's coming close to a wrapping up point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work a bit more on this, get the other nacelle built, and extend this if I can to the hopefully to the length that I want it. And then next episode we'll redo the interior of this area so that the front section is a proper bridge section, and then make sure that we have airlocks and stuff like that. We want to do interior design next episode instead of exterior. Either that or we'll work on the rear engines, since those need to be a bit different. However, I don't think they'll be too different than what we've currently got. Anyway, that's all to come in the next episode. Until then, my name has been Zero Jake. End transmission.